It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. A dream vacation to Bali, the kind of place I'd only seen in magazines and Instagram photos. I had it all planned: the beaches, the temples, the food, the sunsets. It was supposed to be perfect. But just a few days before I was about to leave, something happened. Something unexpected. I got sick. It wasn't just a cold. It wasn't just a little headache. It was a full-on fever, chills, the kind of thing that makes you wonder if your body is suddenly waging war against you. I was stuck in bed, trying to convince myself that it was just a bug, that I'd feel better by the time my flight came. But as the hours went by, I realized I wasn't getting any better. I couldn't even get out of bed. And I started to panic. What if I couldn't go? What if I missed the trip altogether? But then my mind started racing. What about my travel insurance? I'd signed up for it months ago when I first booked my tickets, but I hadn't really thought about it since. I mean, who wants to think about something bad happening on vacation, right? But now, in that moment, it felt like the only lifeline I had left. So I dug through my emails and found the policy. I was a little embarrassed at how much I had ignored it up until now. But reading through it carefully, I realized I might actually be covered. The insurance I'd signed up for covered things like medical expenses, cancellations, and even missed flights. I called the insurance company, heart racing, unsure of what I was going to hear. To my surprise, the process was so much easier than I expected. They reassured me that I could get a refund on my flight, cover any medical costs if things got worse, and even rebook my trip for later. It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. The feeling of relief, of knowing that, even if everything fell apart, I was still going to be okay, was indescribable. I canceled my original flight, got my health back on track, and rebooked my trip for a few months later. And let me tell you, when I finally did make it to Bali, the experience was even more magical than I could have imagined. But what really stuck with me wasn't the beaches or the temples. It was that feeling of knowing that, no matter what happened, I had a safety net. That's why now, before any trip, I always check my travel insurance policy. You never know what might happen, right? A flight might get delayed. A natural disaster might hit. A personal emergency could pop up out of nowhere. And if you don't have the right coverage, it could cost you everything. Here's the thing. Most of us don't really think about the worst-case scenario when we book a trip. We're excited. We're ready for adventure. But life doesn't care about your plans. I wish someone had told me how important travel insurance really is and how it can actually save you from the chaos of those unexpected moments. That's why I make it a point to check my policy every time before I leave. It's not just a formality, it's the peace of mind I need to enjoy the trip. And here's the best part. I found a travel insurance provider that I trust more than anything. I've been using Aurus to insure for a while now, and honestly, it's been a game changer. I'm not getting paid to say this, by the way. I genuinely use them, and they've been there for me when I needed it most. I've had to make a few claims in the past, from missed connections to health issues, and every single time, they've had my back. So yeah, now I always check my policy before I leave. And it's one less thing I have to worry about while I'm off exploring the world. If you're planning a trip soon, do yourself a favor and check your travel insurance. You never know when it might save you.